Now, as a by the by, when we moved into this place, there were these two 150mm squares of 5mm glass that have been waiting for a chance to be used on my bench for the last 12 years. Now, it occurred to me that if I can fit these between two straight edges of wood that have the required row of pins along the sides, I could then pull the glass out of the way to enable me to superglue them together without the fear of gluing them to a board underneath. I've currently used an old car registration form to mark out my 1.5mm spaced holes, and I'm in process of transferring them to the edge of this MDF, when I shall, I think, use a small Dremel drill to pre-drill them so that the application of nails doesn't split the side of the wood off, and then glue them in place either side of those squares of glass. That should enable me to run, I think I've calculated 15 lengths of fencing at a total length of, what have I got here, 300mm, all at one go. Will it work? Come back next year and find out. That's all for now. Next door I've got a Dremel set up. I haven't got anything that would take, let me just shut Beethoven off. Oh, Mozart, sorry, you can see I've finished this row of 200 holes in 300mm and glued this one down. Now I've just got to mark these holes. It's much easier to start a Dremel in when you've actually got a little divot there to start it. The nails I'm using, or the brads I'm using, are 0.7mm diameter, so I thought I'd use my 0.44mm diameter drill as a pilot, but neither my handheld, well, my handheld pin vise will close that down too, but I didn't want to use a pin vise to drill all these holes, and my Dremel wouldn't go down that far. However, I managed to find a 0.6mm diameter drill that the Dremel will close on, and I've got that set up to start the holes for the brads, so that I've got a pilot there and it doesn't, hopefully, split the edge off this MDF as I insert a row of nails. Time will tell. I've taken the camera through to the layout room because that's where I need to stand at about the right height here. I don't know if you can see this. I'll just move the camera around just a wee bit further so that hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Only I've got to switch this on first. And I can't see it well enough myself, so I'm going to have to go and put my headband on and get a bit closer, which will probably mean you won't see anything, but I'm just doing my best to document this. Working here on both the gantry and the fencing. So the next job, having finished the row of 200 holes in this, is to glue it down in the right place. I'm going to glue it down alongside these 5mm squares, but to make sure I have enough room to move the tiles under the wood, I'm going to place a line of newspaper each side that will hopefully give me that little bit of extra space and give ourselves a bit of a rough surface to small amount of glue. I've positioned the unit here by the cupboard doors so I can get underneath to clamp it. Now we can go back to the gantry. I'm getting there. Little way to go yet, but I'm definitely getting there. My first try on the new board, and with 0.2mm wire instead of 0.1mm wire, and I'm discovering that the 0.2mm wire, for all that it's flimsy, is quite substantial when it comes to bending it round a 0.7mm brad and trying to get it to not spread out to be more than 0.7mm diameter bend, and it won't. I'm having to overbend every single one of these. This is going to take me a while, you can see, and we won't know if it's going to work till, I don't know, at the rate I'm going, next month, perhaps next year. We shall see. There, I have placed the brads here at 1.5mm apart, each one being 0.7mm diameter, so that it should hopefully leave me a universal spacing between the wires. However, this is 0.2mm diameter wire, and as I'm leading on to each of the first bends, I can only take the bend around the pin so far, whereas with the second bend to the right of the pin, here I can overbend it to make sure that I do in fact get the wire coming directly from the side of the pin. Unfortunately, as I say, all those left hand edges that I'm leading on have got a slight underbend, you know, even with a bit of tension, and only 0.2 millimeters diameter. We're talking about the need for some physical force to actually bend it in those first half a millimeter or so as it comes off the pin, and it's not actually doing that. If I ever get round to finishing this and trying it again, I shall use 0.1 millimeter diameter wire, as I've done in that first one that I just showed you. That one, hopefully at least, will stay bent when I run it round the pin like this. But I'm doing, I don't know, just a 10 or 15 of these at a time, and then give it a break because I'm sort of bent at the middle so that I can get over the top of it from a high office chair. At least keeps me sitting down on the job instead of standing up, but there's only so much the poor old back will take, and that is going to be it.